Excuse me, everyone. Excuse me. Thank you. I'd just like to make a quick announcement, please. Saints Row will no longer release on the originally announced date of the 25th of February 2022. Instead, it will launch worldwide on the 23rd of August 2022.
Dude, Halo Infinite looks badass. Yeah, bro, I can't believe Halo's back after all this time. Oh, dude, nice one, nice one.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Oh, yes, sorry, man, carry on.
Thank you. Our priority is to create the best Saints Row game yet. And if we released on the original date, it wouldn't be up to the standards we've set ourselves, and that you're expecting and deserve. The team just need more time to do—
Forza! Forza looks so good, man. Oh yeah, man, it looks like real life. Crazy, dude.
In all honesty, we underestimated the impact.
When's Elden Ring coming out again? Next February, I think. Oh, really? Okay.
However, due to the size and scope of our new Saints Row, it's become apparent that to create the best game possible, we need to give our team longer to—
Hey, have you guys seen Flight Sim?
What? There's no way that's a game, man. That's real life.
Nah, man, I'm telling you, it's really awesome.
As mentioned when we announced Saints Row back in August, this will be the biggest and best Saints Row game ever.
Hey guys, great news. A Steam sale just started.
Rest assured, there will not be any changes to the— Guys, where are you? Oh. Keep it strange.
Well, Saints Row. It's been a while, hasn't it? Oh, my apologies. For the last month, I've been burying my head in the sand, enjoying the unbelievable value for money that Xbox Game Pass has to offer. Oh, Phil Spencer, you charmer. But besides the point, that's not why we're here today. The Saints Row reboot has been delayed from February 2022 to August 2022. And I hate to sound rude, but does anyone actually care? Well, regardless, I had some people ask me my thoughts on the matter, and the way I see it is, this is about as surprising to me as someone telling me that McDonald's is unhealthy, the sky is blue, and the British government is useless. You know, things that are blatantly obvious. Yeah, that's how surprising this is to me. In fact, I'd even go one step further and say, what took them so long? I'm not sure if you folks have heard of a site called gameinformer. I'm not a particular fan of the website myself, mostly as it's, you know, a mainstream gaming journalist site, so need I say more? But I mention it because for the last few months they've been drip feeding some gameplay of the reboot every so often. And my god, was it painful to see these so-called gaming journalists desperately trying to hype up the game, because you could clearly tell that it was just blatantly underdeveloped. The world looked bland and empty, the driving looked completely off, even the ragdoll physics looked absurd. I mean, it was just awful, and that's putting it nicely. So the game getting a delay wasn't really that much of a surprise at all, as it clearly needed one, and I actually commend Volition for doing so. Insert Shigeru Miyamoto quote here. A game is better delayed than coming out in a broken state on release, something that other companies are learning as we speak. But what did surprise me was twofold. First, the reasons they gave for it, and second, how long the delay was. So the reason they gave for the delay was the usual spiel that every company and their mum gives nowadays.
Over the past 2 years, all corner of the entertainment industry have been affected/impacted in one way or another. It wouldn't be up to the standards we've set ourselves. The team just need more time to do our vision justice, the working from home arrangement, etc., etc.
So they're basically saying that because of current events, they're forced to delay the game. But I don't buy that one bit. The world started to go to crap around February 2020, give or take, but the Saints Row reboot was announced over a year later, in August 2021. Volition would have had alternative working arrangements in place for over a year by the time they even announced the game. Yet still, they felt comfortable enough to give it a February release date then, back when the game was less developed? So, what exactly has changed in the meantime? A couple of months ago I made a production talking about the Deep Silver Creators Collective, which for those who don't know, is essentially a private group created by Deep Silver, the publishers of the game, whereby they try to round up certain creators and streamers and inundate them with certain privileges, like exclusive insights and merch. I ripped hard on this group's existence at the time for it being what I believe to be a charm offensive, which it almost certainly is. However, after the fact, I was reached out by some members of the collective and we had a bit of a chat, and I have to say, though I still strongly disapprove of the existence of such a group, the individual members themselves were actually most polite and, more importantly, were very open, real and genuine with me, much to their credit. The reason I mention this is because one of these chaps told me something that really blew my mind, and that was that apparently Volition was actually shocked by the overwhelmingly negative response to the game's original announcement. Now, without sounding like a broken record, it is beyond me how a company could possibly be so tone deaf time after time. You know, let me tell you guys a story, right? So, I remember when I first ever started this channel, like a year and a half ago or something like that, and one of the first game reviews that I ever made it was actually my second, was a little game called Marble It Up, right? It was a really simple game. It was just a game about a marble and then you got to like roll it around, and it was like a puzzle game. So really cool indie game, I really liked it a lot. And I gave it a good review. And I only had like 12 subscribers at the time or something, right? Like it was like a minuscule, like no one knew, no one knew who the hell I was. But somehow, the developers of this game, after I made the review, found the review, and they all, liked it and commented on it, and they were really happy with it. And they actually took the time to sit there and watch the review from start to finish. And this review, it was like half an hour long. I mean, you can go and watch it right now if you want. But the point is, in this review, I had one big criticism with the game, and it was something about the checkpoints. Like the checkpoint system was really bad in the game. I don't know. But anyway, I remember, like a week after I made that review, I went and checked the Marble It Up website, and you're never going to believe this. They fixed my one complaint with the game. They actually watched the review for half an hour, took the feedback, and then rolled with it. I mean, now that's real 5-star service. Meanwhile, you can have thousands of people tell Volition the same thing for years, and they just won't listen. Just shameful. But anyway, besides the point, when I heard that they were surprised, it truly surprised me, because, you see, I always figured that Volition were intentionally trying to, 1, appeal to a mass-market Zoomer audience, and 2, intentionally make the game a subtle vehicle of political propaganda. So hearing that none of those things was ever their intent, and they actually just did them passively without even trying, is, strangely enough, even more worrying. But if it is true then that Volition really were in a state of shock to the divisive reception the game's announcement received, then following the same logic, there is zero doubt that their internal estimated sales figures were also severely over-exaggerated. Now, Saints Row games are, as we all know, a mix of gameplay and story. Volition made quite clear in this announcement that the reason for such a delay was, apparently, just to do some fine-tuning and add some quality and polish. And even went so far as to clarify that, rest assured, there will not be any changes to the story or the characters or anything that we've lovingly imagined over the last few years and already shared with you. But I call bollocks. From a psychological perspective, the mere fact that they felt the need to state that they aren't changing the story subconsciously admits that they know it's a problem. Otherwise, why would they mention it? Now, of course, in such corporate statements, they always have to try to spin even bad news in a positive way. I mean, after all, that's just business for you. But without sounding like I've got my tinfoil hat on, I know businesses, and I can read between the lines. And this, to me, seems like absolute nonsense. You see, how long a game has been delayed can really tell you in a way why it's been delayed. If a game has been delayed for, say, 1 month, then, okay. You might need an extra month to iron out those bugs. No big deal. But if a game has been delayed for 2 months, then damn, that's quite a lot of time. You must have some serious problems with the game. But hey, if you need the time, okay. But if a game has been delayed by 3 months, then whoa, that's an entire quarter. Your financial team must be very, very angry with you. You've messed up their entire fiscal projections. But hey, if you really need it, I guess you really need it, but must be some serious flaws with the game. But if a game has been delayed by 6 months, then I'm sorry, but there's gotta be more to it than that. I mean, how many bugs does this game have? 6 months? It's half a year. I believe, hand on heart, that despite this statement, Volition is actually, behind the scenes, mildly editing the story of the game. Now, of course, even with a 6-month delay, it would be far, far too late to transform the core aspects of it, such as the chess club, for example. But what I mean by mildly edit is that, no doubt, due to the limited perceptions of the developers behind it, the storyline of this game, in its current form, is likely filled to the brim with, to put it bluntly, cringy dialogue and possibly even certain objectives. I mean, think about it. The fact that 1, they were shocked by its reception, and 2, delayed the game for half a year, gives me the impression that there simply must be more to do than just simple bug fixes. I believe that in order to try to salvage this game, they are combing through it and neutralizing its content, in order to prevent the inevitable cringe compilations that would define its release, just as it did its announcement. Volition and their corporate overlords may be a politically bubbled company, but they aren't stupid. They know that this is their last chance to get a game right, or the doors are shut for this already underperforming studio. Now, of course, they could just be telling the truth and I'm just looking into things too much as ever, but you tell me what you think. I'm curious. But before we wrap up here, I thought I'd leave Volition 3 recommendations for them to do, which, if followed, would ensure that this game can, in fact, be salvaged. Recommendation number 1. Cut the cringe. Just in case you are telling the truth and you aren't doing anything to the story, please do something to the story. As I said, if you were shocked by this, then you have no idea who your audience actually are and what it is they want. Go through the entire game, every piece of dialogue, every voice line, every mission, objective, everything, and just cut the cringe. Cut the "get the fuck away from my friends." Yeah, get rid of that. Put it in the trash and just delete it. Just make the game badass. Which, admittedly is quite a difficult task considering you've got to deal with a chess club, but still, maybe this can be salvaged somehow. But of course, if you want to cut the cringe, then you're going to have to know who to listen to and who not to listen to, which brings us on to number 2. Recommendation number 2. Stop listening to fanboys. Saints Row, like all game franchises, have 2 different types of people: fans and fanboys. Fans are people, just like you and me. We like the Saints Row games, compliment them when they deserve it, and criticize them when they don't. But overall, we like the series. Fanboys, on the other hand, are absolutely mindless consumers who parasitically attach themselves to the franchise and reject any and all criticism about it. Mostly because they've merged their personality with that of the franchise, and thus taking criticism of it very personally. I mean, I spent over a decade playing World of Warcraft, and I thought that fan base was bad. But my word, Saints Row, it's like a cult. I mean, Volition could take a giant dump on a plate, and these guys would still buy it. And Volition, you really need to stop listening to the fanboys, okay? I mean, let's just be real. If someone has such bad taste as to pre-order a game this terrible looking, from both a gameplay and story perspective, I mean, don't worry about them, Volition. They will literally buy anything. The people you actually need to convince are the people on the fence. People like me, who are 99% certain we wouldn't buy this game even if it was the last game on Earth. Which brings me on to number 3. Recommendation number 3. Diversify your workforce. Again, if you didn't expect this bad of a reception, then that's proof that your workforce isn't mentally diverse enough when it comes to having different perspectives. So I have an idea for you. You guys are in Illinois, which is a deep blue state. So what I'd like you to do is go to the reddest of states possible, somewhere like Alabama or Wyoming, and just find some random Republican farmer bloke, and then bring him back to your HQ and give him a job as your cringeometer. So you can show him everything in your game, and whenever he cringes, you just remove whatever it was that made him do so. And by doing this, you would be, as we say in the corporate world, broadening your perspectives with different viewpoints, which, let's face it, your company clearly needs. Follow these 3 recommendations and I promise you the game will do well. Hell, if you did that, even I might buy it. Okay, let's not go that far. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you folks, I really just don't have a shred of hope about this game at all. I mean, it's what, at the time of recording, almost a year away now? There's like a 99% chance it's gonna be a cringe fest made for Discord-addicted Zoomers. Sadly these days, however, you never know if such filth would actually be a success. Oh lord, please end up in the good timeline. Yeah folks, seriously, if I was you, I wouldn't have much hope with this one. But hey, who knows? Christ.